Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this UNIgreen webinar that is a possibility for acquiring scientific skills and opening new career paths through EU mobility. I'm asking to share my presentation to start with the welcome and introduction of this webinar. My name is Francesca Despini. I'm joining you from the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia, that is a partner of the UNIgreen Alliance. In this second slide, we will see some important remarks, because before we begin, I have to say to you that this event will be recorded and will be uploaded to the UNIgreen YouTube channel. So you can see it again if you want, or share it with students, colleagues, and other people interested. So thank you all for being here today. In the next slide, we will see the outline of this webinar. So first, welcome and introduction, of course. Then we have three amazing speakers that will speak a lot about mobility. But at the beginning, I would say to you just a little bit things about the UNIgreen Alliance. This is a European University Alliance supported by the Erasmus Plus program. It brings together 8 higher education institutions. And the focus of UNIgreen Alliance is sustainable agriculture, green biotechnology, and environmental and life science.
Can you forward? I don't know, sister James.
In the next slide, we will see what the Alliance supports. It supports the green transition by promoting education, innovation, inclusion, and international cooperation. It prepares students and also young professionals for a global labor market and future careers. Today's webinar focuses on a topic that is becoming increasingly important for students, for researchers, for young professionals, that is the role of international mobility in developing scientific skills, personal growth, and new professional opportunities. Because today, mobility experiences are no longer seen like as the opportunity to study for a few months abroad, because they are an important tool to build competencies, skills, to build international networks, and to understand also global challenges. And this is really important in fields like sustainability, life science, agriculture, biotechnology. So this theme is really, really important. And this is really connected to the mission of UNIgreen Alliance. So that's is the why of the webinar of today. So we can move on. We can start with our speaker. Our first speaker is Christian Schulz, and he is the Director of International Relations and Research at the Agricultural University of Iceland. So Christian, thank you very much for being here with us today. And I ask you to share your presentation, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Francesca, and good morning to everyone. To you, good morning from Iceland. It's still early here in the morning, so just 8 o'clock, and I'm going to share my presentation with you. We're talking about mobility. How about come from mobility to this wonderful campus where I'm sitting here at the moment? While Europe is drowning in heat, we still have a cold and fresh morning here. So just to give you an impression from this far remote island and the northwest fringe of Europe, where we are based, I'm the head of international relations and research at the Agricultural University of Iceland. So mobility is my daily bread, and promoting mobility is like my favorite task for my students and my staff and my colleagues. So I have some general aspects about mobility that could be like a stepping stone on your career path. And now at the moment, all the birds are returning to Iceland. Here you see the green area around us is a bird protected area. But the birds are migratory birds, and they are traveling on a long way, all the way here, and then they leave us again in the late summer. So I'm always telling my students, and we had this like graphic here from Iceland, you know, how we are connected through the birds. And I tell them, be like the birds. Go out, come back, go back out again, come back again. So mobility is a really essential part of our academic life here, and as it is in most of universities across Europe and even across the world. So I will give you some input why mobility would matter for young scientists. We're talking here about doctoral students and young career scientists. So, of course, the most scientific careers are increasingly international and interdisciplinary. So, in our case, we have around 25% of our academic staff comes from abroad to be with us for a while, for a longer while, and then they move on between the universities, and it creates this like fantastic network between the universities. So clearly mobility is more than travel. It is about building up skills and networks and career opportunities. And you see the background of this slide here, this European map with the dots and the lines, and everything is connected. So in my opinion, building the networks is the key essential part for your scientific career, because the networks is that bring you forward through your academic career. And there are a lot of European programs. I will talk about them. They are especially designed for PhD students and for postdocs as well. And of course, we want to take a look at our UNIgreen Alliance and why it lowers the barriers and increases access for mobility. So mobility is really becoming a core scientific skill. It's not an extra, as it maybe used to be considered. And of course, we will have some more input of the other speakers today about their experiences. And so very briefly, let me touch upon the scientific skills that go beyond the lab. Of course, you have your basic research skills and going abroad, spending a time at the partner institution, at a research institute. It really gives you advanced methodologies for your scientific development. It gives you access to new infrastructures. And it really teaches you a lot about interdisciplinary research. I can say from my experience, what I see when the students come back, they really take away some transferable skills. They learn about project management, since they have to apply, you know, for a mobility, which is like a little project. They improve in academic writing and they participate maybe in grant applications during the stay abroad. And of course, communicating and teaching is an essential part of many mobilities for PhD students. And then, of course, last but not least, is the personal and professional skills that they develop, the adaptability and the resilience when they go abroad, the international teamwork, and they really can direct their career in the direction that they choose. So how does it really support your career development? I think the key points to take away here are this. If we talk about really a structured mobility with funding application, you receive guidance through the administrative support at your university, you really gain a competitive advantage in academia and even beyond. You will be exposed to different research cultures and learn more about your industry and the policy environments in your direct scientific fields. And you really demonstrate, and I think this is important, initiative and independence in how you work, and this is how you prove your excellence. And this is what really matters in your scientific career. So let's take a look at the main European mobility instruments when we talk about doctoral mobility and early career researchers. So of course, the main element is the Erasmus Plus program, and probably you know a lot about it, but you know that you have the opportunity to go for a short and a long-term mobility, and especially the doctoral students, the PhD students, have since the year 21 the opportunity to go for this like doctoral short-term mobilities. That means for a minimum of 5 days, you can go out, visit, study, go for a short training. And this is really unique, and it's a huge success. We really experience our PhD students, I hear from other colleagues as well, that they really make use of those short-term mobilities. And you're aware as a PhD student, through your cycle of study, you can go up to 12 months of Erasmus funding. So that means literally you could go 52 times for a week to on a PhD short-term mobility, in the best case, of course, theoretically. And then at the same time, PhD students, of course, they are in this very often, due to research grants, they are as well as staff. So they are in this gray area, which can be very beneficial. So they could be both students and staff for mobilities. And through a staff mobility, of course, you have the opportunity to go on a teaching and a training mobility, which is both brings their own like benefits to you. Then, and I have at the end of my presentation some like helpful links to supporting documents to the websites where you can read more in specific about those mobility opportunities. So let me just briefly touch upon the Marie Curie actions that have been around since 1996 already. So that's already 30 years of history in the Marie Curie actions. Now, today, they are under Horizon Europe program. And for the current period, the European Union supports it with a 6.6 billion euros. So it's a huge program. It's really the flagship program of the European Union for a funding program for doctoral education and postdoctoral training of researchers. So it has a strong focus on forming doctoral networks and the postdoctoral fellowships and staff exchanges as well. So the two components, mobility and excellence, are two of the core principles of Marie Curie. So mobility is really like an integrated part of those programs, and especially the PhD students or the postdoctoral fellows, the young researchers, they benefit a lot from it, and they connect. And I think in our cases, like coming from the UNIgreen environment, life science universities, we know that Marie Curie actions, they align and they support the European Green Deal. So in our fields, in our academic fields, we have especially a lot of opportunities to have access to those doctoral networks. So an even older instrument, and this goes back to 1971, so it's more of 50 years, is the COST actions. And the COST stands for the European Cooperation in Science and Technology. And probably some of you heard about the COST actions. So currently, I just looked it up yesterday, is at 277 open active COST action. Only 80 have opened this year. So a COST action is often runs for a 4-year period, and it brings together researchers, young scientists, and PhD students from different countries, from actually more than 40 countries, most European countries, and even some partner countries going all the way to South Africa, are part of the cost action. So, and you see the picture here, this catalog from the cost action, growing ideas through network. And this is like this networking aspect that I mentioned before, especially happening in the cost action, because they're very flexible tools who support travels. They support the short-term scientific missions, where you can browse through the eCoast portal, and I give you the link in the end of the presentation, through open calls for those short-term scientific missions, and they can go and participate and really meet the people and connect. Another very interesting aspect are the ITC conference grants. They are exclusively for PhD students and early career researchers, based in those so-called inclusiveness target countries, ITC. And for example, in the UNIgreen environment, these ITC countries are most of the Central East European countries. So Bulgaria, Poland are part of it. Portugal is a part of it as well. So it really gives you access to those conference grants to go and participate in international and European conferences. So very good tool and very accessible for PhD students. And of course, the regular working group participations and training schools and costs really bring together and help to build up the network. So I think sometimes the cost actions are a little bit considered as these, like, half scientific social events, but they really matter. And I know so many people who really boosted and started their real scientific career through their network that they build up during a cost action. Over the course of a couple of years, they go out and meet the same people, and they start writing grants together and building up the network and publishing papers together. And so that's really a beneficial thing to do in during your PhD years, or even in the postdoctoral years. So let's take a look at the UNIgreen Alliance. Of course, we heard from Francesca, we are a very focused alliance, a thematic alliance on life science, on sustainability, agriculture, and bioeconomy, and so on. So we all talk the same language. Within the alliance, there's, I would say, like an easier entrance to those mobility schemes, because we offer, for example, the joint doctoral PhD program in agri-food science and biotechnology, where mobility is an integral part of our PhD programs. Each PhD student within UNIgreen needs to go on a minimum mobility between 3 to 18 months, to my knowledge. But then we offer a lot of summer schools, or there's like blended intensive programs for a week here and there, where you have access, and you can find it all on the UNIgreen website. We run the joint research centers, JRC, where we start research cooperation. Just now, during this summer, we have a lot of scientific missions going on, where a lot of young researchers and PhD participate, with the support of from the Polish National Agency, with extra grants, where it's quite easy to get access to those scientific missions and connect with the colleagues across the alliance. And then one thing very interesting I really want to mention, we cannot highlight it enough, that across the UNIgreen network, and you see the little map here of the UNIgreen partners, We have those around 60 associated partners. That means research institutes, partners in the industry, NGOs even around each UNIgreen partner, and you can have access to traineeships through those associated partner networks. And this is, of course, a great opportunity across Europe to benefit from the UNIgreen network. So another example that we host here in Iceland is the Nova University Network. We are, as you see on the little map, here the Nordic Forestry, Veterinary and Agricultural University Network, where we give PhD students the possibility to participate in those intensive weeks. A lot of blended intensive programs. They are mainly for the member universities of the NOVA network, but more and more courses are opened up because there are BIPs, blended intensive programs, and it's always good to check out the website of the NOVA network because you find a lot of interesting courses in those like agricultural, forestry, and veterinary sciences for PhD students where you have access with the Erasmus grants. So how you make the mobility work for you? You align your mobility, of course, with your career goals. You very advisable to document skills and your outcomes during the mobility. You should be proactive about your networking and choose, of course, your host institutions strategically where you find like the best players in your field. Just go for it and apply to get there to build up your network. And this, of course, all sums up, you should think beyond your short stay, beyond your short mobility, and have like a longer perspective in choosing your mobility strategically. So you are not alone. There's a lot of support. There are these international relation offices. Most partners have these research support units where you find advice and support. Your supervisors and mentors during your PhD studies, they can connect you with interesting partners. And of course, you have in the UNIgreen partners those coordination teams that are accessible and know a lot about the UNIgreen partners. So we at the universities, we really actively work. We want to help you, the researchers, the PhD students, to succeed internationally because this is what we do. So I say takk fyrir, thank you very much from Iceland. You see my contact data here and some helpful links to the Erasmus program guide, to the Marie Curie actions, to the cost actions, and of course to the UNIgreen Alliance. So thank you very much for your attention, Francesca. I'll give the word back to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Christian, for your presentation. And I see that there is a question in the chat for you. Maybe you answer with your last email, but the question was earlier, so I read it to you. It's what would you recommend to students who would like to start an international experience but don't know where to begin?
For me, the first stop is your local agency. This is like your international relations office, and in the best case, you find a friendly admin who offers you a cup of coffee and starts a chat about the open possibilities for students for choosing an international pathway. And then, of course, they would browse with you through like the Erasmus offers and what's up in the alliance. So international relations office always a good starting point. But then, of course, you need to get active and find out what's out there.
Yes, and I have a question too, because in Italy, especially, we have a little problem sometimes. Really often. We have students that are a little bit hesitant to go abroad because maybe, you know, we are really connected to our local network. And So have you got an advice for them to say, do that, because that's a great opportunity?
I think it's not only Italy, because the tendency is across Europe now that we see that some students are hesitant, because there's insecurity, and I understand that very well. There's the war going out there, and you have maybe your family and friends and your apartment, that you don't want to lose, but I think a very good entry into this, like get a taste for international connections, are those, what I mentioned, the cost actions and these like blended intensive mobilities, where you really go out to start with for a week, and you get a great support, you get a daily grant, you get a travel support, and you make your first steps. You just go for a week, and you build up your networks, and then in a way it opens the doors to the further development. But this is like, in a way, how the European Commission answered this growing insecurity or hesitance, maybe, that they offer this like short-term mobilities in order to be more inclusive for the students, so that more students have access to international or European mobility.
Okay, so this blended intensive program could be a big opportunity. And there is another question, then we will move on, but I read it. Could you please clarify if a PhD candidate is eligible for this mobility program if the educational coursework component has been fully completed in Ukraine, but there is currently no formal enrollment at the home university while finalizing the dissertation? So it's a complex question. If you want to read it, it's...
This is of course a complex question, because you need, of course, to be enrolled as a student in order that your home university can nominate you, can send you on a mobility. So you just have to make sure that you are enrolled, pay your tuition fees, and then the international office is all yours. They will really try to find and open the doors for you, but of course you need to be a student in order to be nominated.
Okay, so thank you again, Christian. And if there are other questions, the people who are participating can write it in the answering question chat, and we will read it at the end. So let's move to our next speaker. That is Evelyn Markov. We can change the sharing of the screen. Okay. And Evelyn Markov is assistant professor at the Agricultural University of Plovdiv, Faculty of Crop Science, Department of Plant Physiology, Biochemistry, and Genetics. So, Evelyn, thank you very much for joining us today, and I'm asking you to share your presentation, and the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to be part of this discussion. When I was invited to speak about mobility, I started looking back at my own path, and I realized something, that for the past 20 years I had been mobile, but that's before I even used the word mobility in an academic sense that you are using it here today. So I moved between countries and industries, between many disciplines. I will show you some of them later, between practical work and research, and also between engineering, that's what I started with, turf management, plant science, and now I'm doing a little bit of artificial intelligence. So today I would like not to speak about the travel itself, but what movement does to the way we think. And for me, mobility is about what we are able to connect after we return, as the respected professor also told us just a couple of minutes ago. So my path was not linear. I started from automation, information and control computer system at Technical University in Varna, my hometown. That was my first professional language, and I learned about systems, about feedback, about measurement, about control and decision logic. Maybe you know the phrase, once an engineer, always an engineer. In my case, that's absolutely true. Even when I later moved into plant science and agronomy and turfgrass management, I never stopped thinking like a systems person. So then I entered golf industry again through golf construction and participated into 2 projects with overseeing another 2. And that changed everything. So a golf course was, or may look like a landscape to you, but when you are part of building one, you see something completely different. You see land being shaped, drainages like this being designed and laid out, irrigation also installed, soil profiles, we need to build one specifically for the golf courses, and grass being established. So eventually all these technical elements become living sport surface, and that's a huge living surface. A golf course is about 70, 80 hectares. So that was probably the first moment when I understood that engineering logic that I already had was not enough. And because a biological system is not a machine, well, maybe not on a cellular level, you cannot fully control it. You can guide it, definitely irrigate, fertilize, and monitor it. And even you can try to better understand it. But there is always weather, there is always stress and variability. So I wanted to learn more, and that took me to Canada, another form of mobility, to turfgrass management education, connected with University of Guelph, with a focus on golf course design, construction, and applied agronomy. So looking back, this was one of the first important combinations in my career. Engineering taught me to search for structure. Turfgrass management taught me to respect that variability we just talked about. And many years later, this same combination pushed me toward modeling, decision support system, and Bayesian thinking. Then 2009, the economic crisis, probably all remember it. For many people, this crisis was definitely a disruption. For me, it was also a redirection. And I moved from golf course construction into product management with John Deere. First in golf and turf, and then in agriculture irrigation. This opened a completely different type of mobility. It was not academic, it was completely practical. So trainings, customers, different markets, machinery, irrigation systems, technologies, different countries, different problems, different countries. And I had the chance to attend professional trainings more or less across Europe, Israel, and United States. At the same time, I continued my education and I completed my master's degree in automation. So this period taught me something very important from this kind of mobility. Technology is useful only when it fits real workflows. A machine, an irrigation system, or a product, it's more than it seems. It's like everything becomes meaningful only when it enters the reality of people who must make decisions every day. Later, I will tell you why this helped me a lot. I was given the opportunity to return to one of the golf courses I had helped build, but this time as a golf course manager. This is Black Sea Rama. That was another major challenge. Why? Because when you manage a golf course, theoretical knowledge meets reality every single day, every single morning. Unfortunately, the grass does not wait for you to wake up. the weather does not wait as well, neither do players or budget restraints. You have to make decisions, and not every day, like 100 times per day. How much to irrigate, how much nitrogen to apply, where stress is developing or is going to be developed soon, which machine to use, which area needs more attention first, or which problem is real and which one is only a symptom. So this taught me maybe one of the most important lessons in my career, that problems are almost never simple. They're very, very multifaceted, multi-angled. A dry area, for example, like this, it could not be only just an irrigation problem. It may be a soil, it may be compaction, drainage, or another maybe at least 20 reasons why we have it. It may be consists of low budget, or it may simply be an operator mistake. So in practice, we become like an investigators. Before I start using the word interdisciplinary, what we just taught, it's in an academic context, I had already seen that real management problems are interdisciplinary in the field. So as I was working as golf course manager during the winter months outside the vegetative season, I used another form of mobility, an informal one. I visited golf course managers, friends of mine in Spain and Portugal. I volunteered at professional golf events, including Women's British Open, I think in 2019. That was in Woburn, close to London. And these were all not formal programs. There were no certificates attached to every experience, but they were these learning environments that you mentioned earlier. I could compare maintenance cultures. I could observe different climates. I could see how experienced managers solved similar problems under different limitations. And that gave me really, really a lot. In parallel, my background in golf course design from University of Guelph helped me work on freelance 3D visualization projects. So I tried to connect experience with what's possible and available now. So I created visual materials, static renders, and dynamic 4K presentations. Some of the static renders you can see now. We actually created a full virtual world for the designers to present their ideas to the investors. Then came another important step, RNA. I hope you know what is it. If you don't, RNA, this is alternative of FIFA for football, but this is for golf. This is the governing body of golf in the world. So I was granted the RNA scholarship and used it for HNC and HND studies in golf course management in Scotland. This helped me formalize much of what I had already seen in practice. And at the same time, I could already feel that the profession was changing. Experience was still essential, but experience alone was no longer enough. Data-driven maintenance was becoming the future. Measurement, analysis, and better decision tools were becoming part of the professional turfgrass management. Stage, I had only scratched the surface, but the direction was quite clear for me. And this direction led naturally to my PhD in Agriculture University Plovdiv. I did not want to study golf courses only as sport facilities. For me, intensively maintained turfgrass areas like golf greens, for example, became a model systems. They allowed me to study water use, nitrogen management, plant stress, soil organic matter, carbon dynamics, and decision making under uncertainty. And from that, a practical question arose behind my research. How can we support better decisions when the system is complex and uncertain? So at the end of my first year as a PhD student, I had another opportunity for international academic mobility, and that was in China. The idea was first to spend a couple of weeks that became a couple of months, and at the end, I stayed there for 2 weeks, for two years. I spent these 2 years at Tianjin Agriculture University in the laboratory of Professor C and his team. This is part of the team. This was a major scientific expansion for me. Until then, I had a strong practical and technical background, as you heard. In China, I moved much deeper into plant physiology, biochemistry, and genetics, and even some bioinformatics. I was also given the opportunity to deliver lectures in molecular breeding, and I did so for 3 semesters. That changed me as well because teaching forces you to organize your knowledge and to explain it in the simplest possible way. And also teaching is in an international environment forces you to communicate very clearly across cultures, across expectations, and across different way of thinking. One probably of the most valuable parts of that period was the scientific discussions that we had with Professor C. He was open to direct conversation and critical thinking, and I valued that a lot. We had regular discussions, and they were separate from the formal lab meetings that we were having every week. And these discussions helped me test many ideas, question assumptions, and connect my practical background with biological mechanisms that he was very into that. So inside the lab, I used every opportunity I could, like scientific events, like technology fairs. This is an international conference just for corn, where our university actually presented a hybrid. They sold it to the business and realized the long-term project that they were leading. Also some social events organized by the university, educational seminars organized by Chinese embassy, where I met people from all over the world, from Africa, from United States, from literally all around the world. Also, yeah, AI, robotics, and digital agricultural conferences. More or less, I visited many places across China, East Asia, including even Japan, Malaysia, and Thailand. So this exposure changed how I saw the future of agricultural research. I became convinced that the future will depend on connecting biology with data systems, with modeling, and decision support tools together, of course, with AI. We cannot talk without including AI in the picture. Around 7 years ago, AI-related training connected me with the University of Helsinki. It actually gave me this other layer of thinking. So gradually, all these experiences started to converge in my dissertation. I didn't want to produce only the traditional ergonomic study. I wanted to build something that connects scientific evidence with real management decisions. So I worked on probabilistic modeling, Bayesian statistics, Bayesian networks. Also, I used large language models-based knowledge extraction. At the end, that converged into a decision support system, all in the context of intensively maintained turf grass surfaces. And at that point, I really saw something very clearly, but that was from the distance of time and experience, that my engineering background helped me think in systems. The industry background helped me understand the real workflows, how the things are happening in real. My golf course management experience helped me understand the stress and the pressure of daily decisions. Of course, the PhD up to that point gave me the scientific structure that I needed to continue further. And the mobility in China expanded this biological and academic perspective that I needed to have. Of course, not to forget the newer digital tools that help me connect all this into a DSS framework. So for me, this is the real value of mobility. It changes the way we connect knowledge. And as a quite recent new member of the Department of Plant Physiology, Biochemistry and Genetics at Agricultural University Plovdiv, I see this Erasmus Plus mobility as the new strategic step. I already did contacted our Erasmus officer, and the result was that at the moment I'm participating at this BIP, Mathematical and Computational Modeling for Sustainability. It's in Romania, in University of Oradea. This is directly connected with my interest in modeling, in sustainability and decision support systems. Then another opportunity is approaching, circular green nanobiotechnology. This is in Poland. We already started with the first online session of the blended intensive program. And another one, I'm also approved for another BIP in Spain, from data to insights, statistics, visual analytics, and generative AI. So as you can see, I'm trying to continue my mobility, but in an academic sense. And for me, this is really the next layer that I need to add on. I'm sure these BIPs and the future ones, and also the programs that are available, will help me improve the methods that I now use, and hopefully will give me the right directions to continue my path. I have a very honest and practical message to all young researchers that are trying to plan their lives and to their research. It's very, very practical, again, what I'm saying. Please use mobility to create conditions for building your scientific identity. On every mobility, go with questions, observe how people work, learn new methods, build relationships. This is what our world is built on. Challenge your assumptions, and try to return with new skills, with new level of confidence, with new collaborators and career directions. I'm sure the mobility will create the necessary conditions. We need to convert these conditions into useful capability. I think in my case, that mobility helped me become definitely way more adaptive and more interdisciplinary, and way more confident. So these are my details, LinkedIn, email, and thank you for the time. I hope you all had something valuable to take from this presentation. Let that be your kind of encouragement to try to test the world, and to know that there are no limits, or actually we are just putting the limits ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Evelyn, and thank you also for your message. I think it's really it's really encouraging for young people. Also, your presentation is really encouraging to say, okay, I can go almost everywhere. Okay.
We actually can go everywhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We have one question that is from a guy from Italy. Beyond the scientific knowledge, which personal or professional skills do you think mobility experiences help develop the most?
I think that probably to be adaptive. Every chance and every opportunity give us another kind of an atmosphere, another requirements, and you need to adapt to that environment. As you saw, I've been to different countries and cultures. Without adaptability, I would definitely be lost. So that helped me a lot to know their culture, and to even a simple example, in some countries you cannot shake or you cannot squeeze the hand of the person you are meeting, and so on. You look like someone, like an intruder or aggressive person. That's what I met on this educational seminars, meeting people from Africa, for example. Yeah. So be adaptive.
And these things, be adaptive. Does it work also for scientific environments? Mobility helps you also to be adaptable and innovative in scientific, in your scientific career, in your research.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then I would add not just adaptive, but be very, very open-minded, if that's a part of adaptability. Especially the last 4, 5, 6 years with AI picking up pace, we need to be very, very, very focused on what's going on. The world, I think it's on a very, very fast pace now, and we should look ahead. I mean, look back, of course, know where your roots are, but still look ahead and try to see things in advance.
Yeah, that's true. So thank you again very much. If there are other questions, we can manage it at the end. And we can move to our third and last speaker, that is Lady Alilai. And I see you connected, and we can, okay, sorry, just 1 second. Lady is the project manager at the startup unit of Art ER. ER is Emilia-Romagna region here in Italy. So, Lady, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here with us today. And I see already your presentation that will be on the screen in a while. Okay, we can see it. Thank you very much.
Very good. Many thanks for having me today. Thank you to Christian and Evelyn that presented earlier, and it was really inspiring and really useful to learn from opportunities and your experience. And as you see, I'm talking today about the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. And yes, my name is, you see my full name, Enkeleida. My short name is Lady. It's easier for everyone. I work in the startup unit of Arter, and I am the program manager in Arter for the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. And I am as well the InfoDesk manager of our platform, Emilia-Romagna Startup, that is an Arter initiative, and as well of our regional government. So a few words about Arter. Arter is the consortium of Emilia-Romagna. We are based in Bologna, and we work on fostering the sustainable growth of the region through the development of innovation and knowledge, attractiveness, and internationalization of our territory. Which are our partners is the Emilia-Romagna region, the 5 regional universities, among which the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia, that is a partner of UNIgreen, national research centers located in our region, the Regional Union of Chambers of Commerce, and other smaller local representatives. So we we heard earlier speaking about the academic path and what you can do with opportunities while you are studying, you are doing a PhD, you are inside the universities or research center. But coming from the research path, you can go straight ahead to the entrepreneurship one. So research can create more knowledge, more than knowledge, like from research come new technologies, innovative solutions, products and services, social and environmental impact, and new entrepreneurial opportunities. So many people know the Erasmus program as an opportunity for studying abroad, but fewer maybe know that there is as well an Erasmus program specifically designed for entrepreneurship. And this program offers the possibility to learn directly from experienced entrepreneurs in another European country. So what is Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs? It's a cross-border exchange program that gives new or aspiring entrepreneurs the chance to learn from experienced ones running small businesses in other participating countries. So the exchange is supported by intermediary organizations. ARTER is an intermediary organization. There are many intermediary organizations spread around Europe. And the objective is to boost internationalization processes among enterprises and support new entrepreneurs in learning process of establishing and managing a new company. So the exchange is based on one-to-one collaboration. It should be a win-win collaboration. Participants do not attend classes. They work, they cooperate with the host entrepreneur, and they work directly inside a real company. So it's a practical, professional learning experience. It's a learning by doing inside a company. So which are the actors that participate in this program? On one hand, you see the facilitators, the intermediary organization. As I was saying, ARTER is in the program since 2009, and we are partners of the OpenEye Consortium, the support office, the ASMEA, and European Commission. On the other hand, you have the beneficiaries that are the new entrepreneurs and the host entrepreneurs, which are, let's say, the main actors of this activity. Who can participate? So a new entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur is a person that is planning to start a business or has recently started one from less than 3 years. So someone that has a business idea and has written a business plan, even not so detailed business plan, a project that wants to develop, or an ambition to be an entrepreneur that wants to explore somehow. This is why this program can be very relevant also for master students, PhD candidates, researchers, recent graduates, because they can have the opportunity to see how a research result or an idea they have had with a group, a bunch of colleagues, can turn into a business, into a new company. The host entrepreneurs, on the other hand, are the experienced ones that ideally they have more than 3 years of experience as host entrepreneurs that are based in another participating country. So a new entrepreneur can only have an exchange with a host entrepreneur in another country, not in the country he or she is staying. They welcome the participant into their company and share their experience by being mentors to the new entrepreneurs or aspiring ones. How does it work? It works shortly. So step one, the new entrepreneur applies and submits via the platform of the program, the CV, a motivation letter, and the business plan. As I was saying, it shouldn't be a very well-detailed business plan. It's somehow a way to show that you are really thinking of starting a company. Step 2 is to get accepted from the program. Intermediate organizations will support candidates in the process by helping them to submit the application and will evaluate the application according to the program rules. Step 3 is find a match with a host entrepreneur that is already in the platform and prepare an activity plan, which is the a kind of contract between the host entrepreneur and new entrepreneur, where they decide together before starting the cooperation which is the framework of the cooperation, what are they going to do during the period that the new entrepreneur is staying at the premises of the host entrepreneur. The step 4 is start the exchange abroad. The minimum duration is of 1 month and the maximum 6 months. The exchange can be as well done in several slots in the timeline of 1 year, of 12 months. During the exchange, the participant may observe daily business operations, contribute to ongoing projects of the company of the host entrepreneur, learn about clients and markets by participating in meetings with clients, for example, or doing market research, support internationalization activities, and develop his or her own idea with the mentoring of the host entrepreneur. There is as well a financial support. The program offers a monthly contribution to help cover travel, accommodation, living costs abroad, and the amount depends on the destination country. Let's say that the maximum amount is 1,200 euros for overseas territories, and the minimum is about 600 euros for countries like Albania that are in the process of entering in the European Union. What can participants gain from this program? The benefits are both professional and personal. They can gain practical entrepreneurial skills like business development, strategy, communication, sales, innovation management, international experience like working abroad, have an intercultural collaboration, European professional networks that might be really useful for eventually starting a company. And you can see that these first skills and benefits are mainly, let's say, skills that you do not develop in the academic path, or unless you do not you participate in an academic, let's say, startup program. But the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program can support the candidates, the new entrepreneurs, the aspiring ones, to gain these skills. And at the end, but not less important, the personal development. You gain more confidence by working together daily with a host entrepreneur, with someone that has already established the company. You become more autonomous, and you gain this entrepreneurial mindset, which is super useful in the daily life as well, not only for starting a company, but for managing a project in the company, maybe you work in the future on the university, etc. So having this mindset is really useful for daily activities as well. Since last year, there are some new destinations. You can see here Canada, UK, USA, and Singapore. And the maximum duration of the exchange here for visa questions is 3 months, not 6, as for the other European or overseas destinations. And some numbers you can see here since 2009, when the pilot of this program started, and we have had like over 15,000 exchanges, which is the last information the European Commission gave us as intermediate organizations in the past days. And here you can see some pictures of the new entrepreneurs and host entrepreneurs that in the last years have been supported by Arte in their path. And yes, the numbers are really encouraging. The opportunity is really great, not only for the ones that have already a company, but the ones that really want to learn by doing how to establish a company. So yes, this is the latest news coming from the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. This is really a huge number for us that are working daily on this program, and we are really happy. Here you can see the website. The second link is the one connected to the intermediary organizations all over Europe. For the ones in Italy, there are other intermediary organizations as well, except of Arter. Yeah, you can find every information in the website, and I will be happy to be of any support and give further information in case you are interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lady. Okay, I am looking at the answering question session if there is some question, but I don't see question now. Or maybe here. No, it's here. Okay, sorry. I have one. I want to ask you, how do you see the role of international mobility evolving in the next few years, also with these new tools?
Well, I have to say that despite the situation we have worldwide, there is plenty of requests of new entrepreneurs, Italian ones, right now that want to go abroad. I was surprised to have a young entrepreneur asking to go to Singapore. He started a couple of weeks ago, his exchange, and other ones are asking to go mainly in Spain or Greece. You know, there are countries that with Italy have more similarities in markets and yes, support for this kind of activities. But let's say that the people that have a business idea and really want to learn, are really focused on developing this business idea, they do not see boundaries. They really are, yes, they are really willing to go abroad, to learn, to open new connections. So I see this as a great opportunity for the ones who are really thinking about becoming entrepreneurs. But yes, I think this is going to be even bigger in the future for people that have that idea. They really never thought about going through it, but with this opportunity, like learning by doing, can be really a boost to their growth.
And speaking about the work market, the job market, not just for entrepreneurs, but for people who do mobility or maybe do a little experience and then come back and search for a job. And do employers really today value mobility experiences? And do you know some sector where these are more valuable than other?
Yes, I would say that employers that do not have long employment contracts, you know, maybe there are some, there are people that have been employers for 1 or 2 years, and now they are thinking to use this opportunity to evaluate how it would be to become an entrepreneur. I have had a couple of cases of people that had put their activities in standby as employees and for 1 year, sabbatic year, and they have used the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program to see how this can help their future career as an entrepreneur. Let's say that mainly I have seen this kind of activity in social media marketing. And it is very interesting, this activity the Canary Islands, for example, are doing in the last years for digital nomads. So people can move and work there with a family and yes, start to to evaluate how a known company can be started, really started. So yes, it's an opportunity. There are not many numbers, but if people knew it, I think this might be super useful. I have had one case as well of a person that in his 60s, he decided to become a new entrepreneur, because age in this case, it's not
doesn't matter.
It's not the problem. Yes, not a limit.
Yeah.
You can become a new entrepreneur when you decide to be one. So yes, it's useful in those cases too.
Okay. Okay, there aren't other questions, but there is Sylvia that write not a question, but many thanks for this presentation, very clear and useful. So I read it, the message. So I think that I don't see other questions for our speakers. So I think that we can move on the closure of the webinar. I will ask if it's possible to have the QR code displayed in our in this page, because we have this really short survey, and I'm asking all of the participants to complete and take like 1 or 2 minutes, no more, to complete this little survey that will help us for the future UNIgreen webinars. So while people are looking at the survey, I will remember you that this webinar will be uploaded on the YouTube channel of UNIgreen, so we can see it again, the presentation and everything. And I would like to sincerely thank you, all our speakers, because they have 3 different presentations that brings different point of view, and I think it's a really complete webinar from this point of view on mobility. So thank you very much, and thank you for all the people who take part and join us in this webinar this morning. We hope that this webinar offer the useful insight about mobility, about how to do things, and also about which skills you can develop. So thank you again, and we hope to see you again in future UNIgreen events. And so I think that we can close now the webinar, and have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good one.